volume is probably the most critical part of all of it. You know, they got to hear you. You know, they got to hear you. And, you know, most of the time when we first started grunting, it was a little just soft. You know, don't get too excited. Don't spook them. Don't spook them. The book says don't call too much and don't call too loud.
Yeah.
Well, throw the book out the window and hunt, and you'll be better off. You know, just as you would study the terrain to go set a stand, every time I get in a tree, I look at the conditions. Is it windy? Is it noisy? Is sound carrying? Am I hearing the highway? Not today. I'm not hearing it. Other days, it's blowing me out of a tree. Sound's carrying better this way. You take note of all of that because when you get the opportunity to call it a deer, you got to kind of have an idea how you want to call, how much volume, because volume is the most important part. Reach them. They got to hear you. And it may be dead still, and a deer can hear that grunt 70, 80, 100 yards. So all you need is a little soft sound. But it could be the same situation, day 2, the wind blowing 12 miles an hour, the leaves are rustling, the limbs are blowing. He ain't going to hear that grunt.
Yeah.
You better take it up several octaves and go against what the book says and call loud until they hear you. The other thing is calling the deer you can see versus calling blind. In other words, calling like casting blind, calling blind. You're not seeing nothing, but you feel like you should make a sound and reach out there. They both are effective. The difference in deer you can see, you know about by watching them, you'll know when they hear you. They'll tell you every stinking time when they hear you. They'll look up and cock their head that way. They heard you.
Right.
If they're still feeding and you blew the call and you're the guy, and I've heard it a million times, well, he just didn't like it. He didn't even look my way. Okay, bud, I'm just telling you, he didn't hear you.
Make it louder.
He did not hear you. You've been reading too many articles. That's a problem.
So every time, if you give it the right volume, they will let you know they heard it.
They will let you know when they heard it or paying attention to it.
Okay.
Doesn't mean they could be walking by on a mission and the leaves are dry and they don't hear it no matter how loud you get. They never break stride. They never heard you or didn't want to hear it. So if they didn't want to hear it, I'm going to blow it as loud as I can until I decide, well, he's just not interested.
Yeah.
You know? But when they like it or they are interested, they're going to give you that stop or that cock of the ear, twitch of the ear your way, throw the head up, even though they may be like me, they heard it but couldn't source it. So they stop, throw their head up. And they got their head up. Now they're listening. That's when you want to call again, immediately. Yeah, I'm talking to you. I'm a deer. Come here. You get them hooked, keep reeling. That's pretty simple math.
Yeah.
Most people tell you, even so-called professionals, if you get them looking, don't call. It's like you get them hooked, don't reel.
Right.
It don't make no sense, you know. There is a point, common sense, that here they come walking to you.
Yeah.
Hey, okay, I don't need to call.
Yeah.
They're coming to me. So, yeah, the book's right. But as soon as that deer starts to lose the least amount of interest in my calling, I hit him again. No, I'm talking to you. Come here.
And a part of that is distance, right? Like how close they are versus
right.
Versus if you're right on top of them.
Right on top of them, you're going to get the shot, put the call down.
Yeah,
you know?
sure.
But if they're still 80 yards out and they've walked a little ways and they stop and they're looking that way and hit them again. Say, yes, I'm talking to you. Come here. A lot of people get deer coming and then they'll stop calling and a deer will walk and say, well, I thought I heard it over there, but yeah, maybe not. Oh, okay, I'm gonna go see somebody else. You know, I'm gonna go to the field, or I'm gonna go to bed, or I don't know what they're thinking, but I want to keep real, and so it's just common sense, reading the situation, reading each deer.